One of the strangest things about modern relationships is how people can leave, be so certain, and then come back. It could be a few weeks, it can be a few months, it can be over a year. But in my experience, they always do come back. And in my experience again, it's not always for the better. Even though it can be quite ego boosting when they reach back out, it doesn't mean it's always going to end well. Right, let me tell you a story. I was in a relationship with a girl for 2 years. Right, I loved this girl. We did so much together. The relationship was actually very intoxicating on both sides. Sex was great, even though you can't build a relationship just on sex, obviously. Yeah, so we were together for 2 years, right? And then slowly the relationship started unraveling a little bit. You know how it is, like the honeymoon period runs out and then people start sticking their nose in, don't they? Start getting family, start getting single friends. Single friends is a big one, I think, in regards to splitting people up. Start getting all these outside pressures coming in, especially when things aren't right, because then, the other half seeks reassurance, speaks to friends, speaks to family, and that's when the waters can get really muddied, in my opinion. You got to be careful who you tell about your problems. So, long story short, girl moves in for a year with me. Didn't like how I lived, how my lifestyle was. Didn't like me being a single dad. She had no children. I had one child. She used to get very jealous about him. So she said to me, look, I can't do it anymore. I want my freedom. You've got no freedom. You've got structure. You've got routine. You've got family. I need to leave. I was absolutely heartbroken. I'm not going to lie. I put so much time in. Anyway, she goes, and I'm like, oh, damn. That's not good. I can remember actually packing her stuff, watching her leave the house. She was crying, but she was so methodical with how she got all the stuff. I knew it was done. I thought she is not coming back. Anyway, for the first week or two, I might have sent a couple of texts, I might have sent a couple of emails once I got blocked and everything. And then I was like, right, I need to pick my shit up now and get my stuff sorted. I can't keep showing myself up like this. So that was it. I never reached out again. I went on a holiday. It was paid for us two. I went on my own. I tried getting on my life. I dated other girls, but nothing felt the same. I wasn't ready for it looking back. I was always looking for girls that reminded me of her. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like that. I was totally not, I shouldn't have been dating. But I worked on myself, started a new business, which did quite well. I went to the gym more, my body looked better. I was just trying to level up with a broken heart, basically. And I was doing that very slowly. Anyway, 8 months passes, right? A whole 8 months. Not heard a dicky bird. Not one message, not one text, nothing. She was literally 5 minutes down the road. She never reached out once. She then goes to work abroad in America, 7,000 miles away in Miami. 4 days into a new job, I get a message on Messenger, Facebook, and her name pops up. I was like, holy shit. On New Year's Day. It was New Year's Day, I remember it. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I was on the phone to my dad, and I see this text pop up, and it said, hi, been thinking about all the good times we had. It's very overwhelming. Hope you got a New Year's smooch. And I was like, wow, that is bait right there. That is bait. But at the same time, I was glad. I had mixed emotions. I was glad because I thought it was a bit of an ego boost to me. She'd left me, and I always thought she would reach out. But 8 months had passed. I was like, that's it now. She's not gonna. It's New Year's Day. Time to move on. And then you get the message like that. So anyway, we ended up speaking. Had a long distance relationship for about 3 months. I flew out to Miami like an idiot. And then she was going to fly back with me, and we'd have 5 weeks in UK. Anyway, long story short, it went fucking Pete Tong. It went bad. Same thing started flaring up. Jealous about my family, jealous about my son. And then she's left me again. But the reason for this video is, why do they leave? And then why do they come back? Obviously, relationships are so nuanced. Every relationship's different. There's so many different factors, but I think there is a lot of similarities on why people leave. And I'm going to talk about a few right now. I think one of them is, like I mentioned earlier briefly, interference, pressures around the relationships, what people can put on it. Families can be very jealous, especially mums of their daughters. They love spending, if they're really close and they haven't got anyone else, they do not like their daughter being taken away from them. I don't care who it is. It's kind of toxic, really, but that does happen a lot. You're in a three-way relationship with girlfriend and mum, and as soon as something goes wrong, she tells the mum, they double down on it. They double down and they know what to say. Another reason why they may end it is, again, interference, this time from friends. No one makes a girl more single than her single girlfriends. They want their full attention. They want someone to go out and party with. They want someone to come round to their house and have like coffee dates with, and like watch TV and go on Tinder together and just talk about boys and be in that dating scene. They don't want to do it on their own. And if they can drag their friends in, they will do that. So same again, be careful what you tell your friends, because if they see a little weakness in the armour and they're not happy with themselves, they will double down on it. Another one is, sometimes the relationship can get too intense. You know, it can be too much for them, too much too soon. They might have other things going on in their life, and that's understandable. So they think, wait a minute, do I need this? Am I ready for a relationship? No, I'm not. I'll cut the dead weight. So when they do eventually leave, they think things are going to get better. You know, they think that distance, that weight has been lifted, they have the freedom back. And, you know, I think for the first days, few weeks, even months, they probably do feel that. They probably do feel the relief. But then, you know, as the time ticks away, you know, the thoughts start coming back. They might have fallen out with their friends, family. Life's not progressing like they thought it would. They might do a bit of digging on you, and they get curious. You know, and the mind goes back to, wait a minute, maybe he wasn't so bad. Maybe she wasn't as bad as what I thought. And this is where regret comes in. Grass isn't always greener. It very rarely is. But when you've got people in your ears telling you to go, telling you to end it, you can do better, it's not always that easy. And sometimes what you've got with someone, you know, it's special. And you got to work it, haven't you? But it seems like now, nobody wants to do that. As soon as any bit of trouble, any doubt, and people are gone, like, see ya, Tinder, on to the next, let's go partying. And that's all fun for a little while. But after a bit, it does get boring. It gets very, very boring. And you know, when you've lost that person, you lose the comfort, you lose the connection, all the experiences, all the future that you was going to build together, that's all gone. And when the outside noise has left and the influences are not influencing anymore, these thoughts creep back into your mind. And this is like the stage where they tend to reach out, in my experience. You know, they swallow their pride and they do it. But here's the important thing to understand. Just because someone comes back doesn't always mean they should. Sometimes it is loneliness. Sometimes it might be clarity. But how do you know the difference? Do you know what I mean? You don't really know. It's very hard to judge. And in my experience, it's never worked. The second time round's never been good. Starts off good. The excitement, seeing each other again. Sex is amazing. But then everything just creeps back into how it was before. Guys, just be really careful. If you do get back with your ex, you've really got to play it safe, in my opinion. You've really got to suss them out quick. If not, you're just going to open the wound straight back up and be back to square one. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, it really helps me out. Also, big shout out to Brian. He's been asking for a shout out for a while now. Brian, I've remembered. Here's your shout out. Enjoy it. Peace out, guys.